Today I'm talking to Linda Scotti. She's an executive coach and rapid transformational therapist. She loves inspiring senior leaders to create greatness and joy in themselves in their teams. Welcome, Linda Scotti. How are you
Thank you.
today?
I'm really good today. Thank you.
You are currently living in Ireland, but originally from Milan, Italy. What
Yeah,
brought
that's true.
you to Ireland?
So what brought me to Ireland was, if we look at the surface, it's work because it was 2009, and I started to think when I was working at Google that my career couldn't go much further by staying in the Milan office, and so I started to look at opportunities in Dublin, and then I found a multicultural, multinational team that was looking for someone who could speak three languages. And at the time, I could speak kind of three languages, but my German was okay. No, I don't remember it a lot. But at the time, I could speak three languages. So I considered the opportunity. I was married and I had a little child
Yeah.
of 2 years old. And it was a very difficult decision in a way. So I always wanted to live abroad. But on one side, I was very excited by this opportunity. But on the other hand, I felt very guilty to leave my family, my parents, my friends, and everyone else. And my husband felt exactly like me. He was very excited to move to Ireland because he's from Venezuela and wasn't very happy in Italy. He was the one that was also pushing me to make this decision. And it was a very, very good decision in the end.
Wow, awesome. Your child was 2 years old that time, and this amazing opportunity came up, but you were divided in between, like, should I go there or not? What was the journey like at the beginning of your transitioning in Ireland?
Yes. At the very beginning, I felt that I had to start from scratch in a way because I didn't have any any friends here. I didn't know anyone pretty much, so I had to rebuild my network of friends, peers in the office, and my credibility as well. So I could speak English pretty okay. So at the time, because I had to use it for my job, but it wasn't at the level where it was supposed to feel completely confident speaking with clients over email, phone, and with my peers. So I had to make tiny steps every day to become more confident and to feel that this was my home, and that took me a while before getting there.
Yeah. So before getting there, it took you a while. What event or action took you there? If you could maybe expand on it.
Hmm. There wasn't, I think, one single event that brought me to that point. It was more a, a, a sum of events or single steps that I took. And one of the things that helped me the most was that welcoming and friendly atmosphere that I had at work at the time. So my team was amazing, was a team of around 20 people. Pretty much were coming from many different countries, and each one of them was speaking at least three languages. And
Wow.
we all felt away from home, so we all felt kind of lonely, but at the same time very close to each other. We had a lot to share in
Yeah.
terms of needs and on in terms of aspirations and values. So I felt that my team was like a second family, and that allowed me to express myself a lot more. So paradoxically, instead of feeling like a foreigner, instead of feeling like, oh, I don't belong here, it was the opposite. I felt that I didn't belong much when I was in Milan, while
Yeah.
I felt that I belonged in that environment that was so open and inclusive.
Nice. So you had great social support.
Yes, and social support is so incredibly important. Yes.
Cool. How did your family experience this move?
So my family wasn't happy at all at the beginning. So my parents had a long period of grief around me leaving the family, the country, because I'm a lonely child. So they didn't have any other children that could stay with them. So they felt that I was leaving them forever and not being close to them, maybe in their times when they were getting older and need more help and support from me. Sort of a feeling betrayed by me. So at the beginning was really tough for them to accept my decision. But after 2 3 years, when the economic situation changed in Italy and also changed in Ireland, because when we moved here, it was 2010, and that was that time when there was an economic crisis everywhere. The banks had collapsed everywhere. But in Ireland, there wasn't much work. The situation was difficult, and everybody was fearing that the banks could collapse here as well. Although
Wow.
my parents also couldn't understand that. Oh, you're crazy. You're going to Ireland and maybe you will find yourself without a job very soon. And instead, none of that happened. And things went just better and better and better. And so after a couple of years, my parents recognized that that was a good decision. Even
Mm.
though it was tough for them, but as parents, and they are very, very generous, uh, they thought that was the best decision for me and for my family.
Nice. Yeah. How long have you been in Ireland now? After transitioning well in the new culture, building your new career, who do you have become as a result of the transition, in your opinion?
Okay, that's also a very big question. So I've been here for 10 years now. It was
Wow.
January this year. And it's been a long journey. And one of the things that makes me think about the meaning and the result of this journey is what my husband tends to say to me, that when he met me in Venezuela, and then when we were living in Italy, I was he thought that I was insecure, that I was focused on fitting in and making my family happy and my parents happy. I was in that kind of people pleasing, quiet mode. I wasn't really focusing on what I really loved and what I wanted to become. So as a result of transitioning, as you say, and changing countries and going through a number of small challenges and big challenges, then I became a lot more courageous and confident, and understanding that I could face those challenges and overcome them successfully. So I would say to anyone who's going through this journey that you will become a lot stronger in the end. You will become a different person. It's a lot more open-minded, and self-aware. Those are the biggest gifts, and you feel that you're free when you are in another country that is not yours, and to express yourself a lot more, to be in contact with your strength and who you are. You're not forced to be that person that everybody used to see when you are always in the same social environment in your country of origin.
Yeah. So you really needed to embrace what were your natural talents and strengths, and that experience helped you really tap into that.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Cool. So I kind of, it might be wrong, but personally, I kind of see that moving into a different culture and starting um, something from the beginning, either through learning a language or getting getting into corporate career or building your career as a solopreneur, I think that people face a lot of uncertainty,
Mhm. Yeah.
and this world has now is facing also tremendous uncertainty. It might not be incomparable, but there's a certain level of similarity in it, I think. So in terms of dealing with uncertainty, what are your um, advice?
dealing with uncertainty is another great question. So I think originally I was trying to avoid uncertainty as much as possible. When I was living in my home country, I was educated to stay safe, be small, kind of play in a safe mode, and not taking much of a risk, not taking risks that much. While instead, when I moved to another country, I had to take small risks and then face all sort of uncertainty. So from how do I get my driving license, Italian one, into an Irish one, or simple things like how do people deal with the doctors and healthcare system and the school system or whatever. So I didn't know any of that. And so I had to face all that uncertainty, letting go of the need to be perfect, of the need to get it right the first time, more with a learning mindset and more with a growth mindset instead, and being open and to make mistakes. And it has been a long journey, not something that I learned straight away. At the beginning, it was extremely difficult, and difficult also to accept that, oh yeah, when you are in front of people that know you, you have your reputation, it's everything is fine, you don't have to prove yourself. While when you are in a new context, instead, you are brand new, so you have to reinvent yourself and 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 make mistakes. So inevitably, so there was a long journey for me of acceptance and of learning to be myself. I mean, it's not ended. So I think that's a lifelong journey. This one,
Yeah, it's a
yeah, yeah.
journey, definitely. Reflecting back, maybe what was your biggest mistake that made you who you are now?
Yeah. There were a number of mistakes. One of the mistakes that sometimes come to my mind uh, is that trying to fit in and to please when you are in a corporate environment, right? Because you think, I mean, most people think that when you are in a corporate environment, you have to conform to what is expected of you all the time, and then you don't have much of a room to negotiate on things. But people who understand that that's possible instead, they have a huge advantage. So for many years, the mistake that I made was to focus on doing what was expected of me, kind of pleasing and doing, working really hard, doing what is expected. And then in the end, I thought that the reward was sort of automatic. And this is also a mistake that many women make in general, probably more than men. So not uh, clearly negotiating on what they want. They just there working really hard, and then at some point the reward will come. And doesn't work that way. So it took me a long time before I finally understood mistake after mistake. In that sense, that you need to be very open and clear and negotiate on things very clearly about what you really want. And also starting from yourself and being clear of what you want from your career. So I had a career conversation at some point in when I was at Google that I still remember, when my manager asked me, who do you want to be in 5 years? How do you see yourself in 5 years from now? Now, this is the greatest question ever, but it's very common. And I didn't have any answer for her. And I just said, how do you see me in 5 years? I mean, come on. I had delegated completely the responsibility about my development to somebody else, because I thought, well, she knows, she's the one who is expecting something from me. Well, it's not the right thing to do. Um, so that was a big learning,
Yeah,
and it took me way too long time to get there, but I got there finally. Yeah.
that's interesting because I had the similar experience. 10 years ago, my Australian manager brought me to his office, and he's like, okay, what is your purpose in life? Who do you want to be in 10 years? I did not have an answer. I was like, nobody asked this question from me. What?
Yeah.
It thinking back, I think this question guided me throughout my career now. And if without that question, I would not have become who I am now today.
Mm,
I'm so grateful.
yeah, yeah. So those challenges help you, but at the time, I didn't realize that that was something that I had to learn. I thought, well, I'm just pleasing my manager, just giving her even more power just by not answering that question. But it wasn't very smart at the time. But anyway, now I am very different. Yeah.
Now you are working with private clients or working in the corporates. Like, can you tell me more about your work?
Yeah. So I work full time for Indeed.com as a leadership coach, coaching senior leaders there. And I have few private clients in my private practice, but not many, of course, because I don't have much time for that. My main focus is on my full time job that I love.
Nice. So, what is the most meaningful in your work?
What is most meaningful?
Yeah. What's meaningful to you there?
Hmm. So one of the reasons, I think the number one reason probably that make me love my work is that I understand from my own experience and suffering at times that you need to be fulfilled. You need to feel fulfillment in the workplace. And you were mentioning Simon Sinek just a few moments ago, and this is what he talks about all the time. We spend most of our life in the workplace. And so I love working with leaders to help them not just to find some great performance but to find their own greatness, which means expressing their strength and joy
Sure.
themselves and their teams. Because work doesn't have to be something that we do because we are forced to do it, just to earn the paycheck. It needs to be, to me, as I'm an optimist like Simon Sinek, it needs to be a way of expressing ourselves because the world needs our strengths. The world needs us to give our best, not just to go somewhere and spend some time to earn a paycheck.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's very important to explore your joy and strengths and meaning and character in yourself. And then that really helps us also build our selves. And then we become able to serve others. So, Linda, what are your top three strengths? And how did you realize those strengths?
So depending on that's a great question. Depending on the assessment, there are so many different assessments of strengths. The bias strength survey, I think it's great. And according to the bias strength survey, my first strength is perspective wisdom.
Wow.
And perspective wisdom has to do with the ability to have perspective on things that people find value in. And that's something that I found in my life many, many times, that people were coming to me asking for my opinion on the whatever situation they were finding themselves in, asking, well, what do you think? What I think that I should do? And and that's something that I love to do in service of people. While at the same time, as a coach, I needed to find that distance, that detachment, and not kind of jumping into, yeah, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do and what my perspective is, giving the space to people to come to their conclusions themselves. And so that's the strength, while at the same time, I need to watch over it, that it doesn't become something that prevents people from thinking for themselves and find their own big wisdom. They find their own great wisdom. And I believe that people have their own great wisdom inside themselves, absolutely. So that's one. The number two from the bias strength survey is leadership, which makes me so happy and makes me think, oh, yes, I'm in the right job. That's cool. And leadership, according to the bias strength survey, is the ability to have people work together, so kind of in a way that is organized, and having them to kind of follow a leader in the pursuit of a purpose of some kind.
Yeah.
And it's true that I enjoy really organizing activities, organizing people around a goal. It's something that I do even when nobody asks me to do. And I think that's something uh, that sometimes people don't. They think that leadership is about telling other people what to do or giving them a direction. It's not exactly that. It's more to help them express themselves and unleash their own power, and having them to together and to put their efforts together to accomplish something. So that's one of the reasons why I always loved working in a team and not always not just working all by myself. I love working in a team because you can create those dynamics, work together with people to accomplish something great together.
Awesome. What is
Yeah.
the third one?
The third one, the third one I think is gratitude, if I remember correctly. I'm not completely sure, but I think it's gratitude. And that resonates a lot with me. So I thought that it was true when I took the assessment, because I'm very grateful. In general, I love expressing gratitude to people, to life. I don't take things for granted at all. So I'm grateful for, I mean, the sun shining outside, for, I mean, a flower, for any small little thing that I receive from life. I think it's a gift, and nothing is for granted. And especially, in the very uncertain times that we're living, we appreciate even more the small things that
Yeah.
we have, the gifts that we have from life every day.
So, especially in this uncertainty, what are the small things you find most grateful for?
The even having time to spend with my family, the very small simple things, like waking up every morning feeling that I have energy, I'm healthy, I'm surrounded by people that I love, that love me. So the very small simple things that make, I think, life worth living, I appreciate them even more. So I feel very very safe in my home with my kids when we laugh together. So I'm grateful for that, because it's not something that is for granted, or it is easy in these times that we are living. But it's important. It's important to keep finding joy together as a family, and being grateful for
Yeah,
those small moments of joy together.
yeah, small moments. That's. I love that. 10 years ago, you moved to Ireland, and you have built your career successfully. You love what you're doing now. You have clients, and you enjoy working with the employer and the clients. People in our audience that looking for specific steps to make it work. What are the 3 specific steps that you took and you were proud of it?
So one thing that I wanted to say before going to advice mode, and just giving people some steps and ideas,
Yeah,
is that I believe that each one of us needs to find their own way to success, and it's different because we come onto the planet then to learn something. We are on a journey, and we all have different journeys of what might be something that worked specifically for me might not necessarily work for somebody else.
yeah,
At the same time, in terms of mindset, there are things that tend to work for most human beings. So so the first thing that helped me was to have an open mind.
open
Just
mind.
be open to what life throws at you, and then learn from it, learn to respond to what comes to you, learning to face those challenges, go through it, and not being um, completely overwhelmed by fear, and see what's the gift in it, what you can learn from it. So having this learning mindset that, I mean, I always had throughout my life. That's something that has become even stronger, bigger when I came to Ireland, and I appreciated it even more. And to the point when I recently started to say that uh, mistakes are the things that I'm looking forward to make. That I love mistakes. Every time that you make a mistake, when you're learning, finally, you're not doing it right, I'm learning. While in the past, I was more avoiding. Yeah, so that's amazing. And to have this kind of mindset, you even find challenges for yourself, and you look for those moments when you screw up completely. Say, yes, that's great. Today I learned something. Yeah, so that's extremely important. I would say that's the number one thing, number one advice. The other one is to uh, surround yourself with people, circumstances, a work environment that challenges you. I was very fortunate to work at Google in the past for 10 years. It was quite a long period of time. And even though it can be exhausting at times because it's a very demanding environment, I learned to raise the bar because either the bar was raised for me or I had to raise it for myself in order to stay kind of competitive in that environment. And when you raise the bar for yourself, you find out that you're always capable of more. You're capable of so much more than you think you are. And you see all those targets going up, say, oh my God, how am I gonna ever get there? I have no idea. Or when you are assigned a project you've never done before, say, oh God, I have just 5 minutes to prepare for giving an update to the team on this project. How's that possible? And instead you find out that, yeah, you can do it. You can do it and survive through those circumstances. And so I find that surrounding yourself with challenges, circumstances, or people, that helps you to grow so much, so much. So if you don't have it currently in your life, find a way to be in that kind of environment where you feel uncomfortable and you feel that you are given impossible challenges, because you will find your greatness right there. You will find it. And that's the number two. The number three, what could that be? The number three, I would say, the not being afraid. Not being afraid of being afraid, which is, it sounds weird, but it's not being afraid of being afraid. Because if you look for challenges and if you want to grow, you will be afraid at some point. But the point is that even if you are afraid of those circumstances, like someone that is giving you an incredible project or a huge targets, or maybe you have to present in front of 300 people, like it happened to me once, you will be scared. Sometimes scared to death, say, oh God, how can I possibly do this? Just go for it. Just go for it and do it. You will feel the fear. Most people that succeed big in life is not because they're more intelligent than anybody else, it's just because they keep going even if they are afraid, and they face those moments, they go through it, and they find themselves more courageous and stronger on the other side. So those are the three ones for me.
Wow, amazing. Courage is not an absence of fear, and you do not grow. When you were talking, and I was reflecting on the point that growth is outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how are you raising your bar now? What is your next challenge?
And that's a great question. You so many great questions. And it's about raising the bar. For me, it's more on, how can I say it? It's something that I do on a daily basis, kind of on a daily basis. I try. Even when your environment doesn't throw challenges at you, I was asking myself, how can I make the difference? And this is a question that I learned to ask myself when I was working at Google, and I wasn't even aware that I was asking myself that question all the time. And that question was helping my mind to find ideas, find new ideas. So ideas were popping into my head, and it's something that I do right now. So yesterday I was thinking, for example, to a group of women that is here in Ireland, and before they used to meet together and to support each other, they are small business owners, and they used to meet together every Monday and to work together in a workspace. Well, now they cannot, so they are meeting virtually. So I was thinking to organize a training for them on how women sabotage themselves. And I said, instead, I had done a webinar on that topic, but I said, I can build on that. So the raising the bar is, okay, out of that content that I already have, how can I create instead a workshop that is a more engaging, interactive experience so they can learn more by working together as a group. And so I constantly do this kind of exercises, thinking about what is the next thing that helps me to feel a little bit more uncomfortable, to expand my my comfort zone into something new that I haven't done before, but in a way that is not jumping out. It's more building one step at a time, one really small like break, like when you're building a house. It works in that way. So starting from what I already have, and what is the next little piece that I can add on it to create something new that is of value.
Awesome. Constantly growing and also adding up more skills.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot of energy.
Yes.
And of growth. And
yeah, huge amount of energy. So I'm very excited always, because this is who I am, by new ideas and projects. It's something that can also derail you if you and had you go on a tangent if I don't, at least this isn't talking about me, but maybe some people that are listening are similar to me. If you don't channel that energy into something real, something productive, something that you can take action on. So it's not just important to have ideas, have good ideas. It's important then to take action and experiment, make small experiments and try out new things in a way that also feel safe and builds on something that you already have. Constantly building, because one of the mistakes that we can make, and I've certainly made that, is having too many ideas of projects and then become completely scattered and having your energy go into too many directions, and then not instead creating something usable and big, and that makes the difference to everyone, or to some one person.
I can see that you are very much led by contribution and meaning.
Oh yeah, 100%. So important to me. So important to me.
How can I make it better? How can I contribute? When you were telling me that spending your energy on something, like channeling your energy, so especially it was true early in my transition. I had this huge uncomfortable feeling, like, okay, I'm not good enough. What am I gonna do? I don't know what to do. And all of those thoughts created so much energy. And at some point it was making me sad and frustrated. What I did was channeling that energy, I guess it's the right language, to just every day sit behind my computer, learn something, and um, try to learn something and write something on what you've learned. And I started blogging, and it was just great way to reflect on my life and really internalize my experience.
Yeah. Yeah, no, blogging is great. And I mean, having any form of self-reflection, which is something that I very much resist to, because I tend to go into multiple different directions as a default tendency. I tend to go whatever, I tend to be scattered. But when I do self-reflect, I find so much value in that. And when I make the most progress in any project or in any endeavor in my life, it's because I focus all that energy on one thing. And it's something that my coach was richly to me at some point. What he said to me was, you need to slow down and focus on one thing. And it seems so simple, isn't it? But it's not simple. So it took me a while, and it still takes an effort my energy than to channel what I have to give in one project, because it seems boring, on the back of my mind. Sometimes I say to myself, oh, that's boring, just one thing. You can do more, you can do bigger challenges, more impact, and all that. Probably resonate with you. And it's not true. It's not true. You can create something really big, taking small steps.
Yeah, you are curious and energetic. You want to work on many things. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were to speak yourself 10 years ago and knowing what you know now, what would you say to yourself?
Hmm. I would say, first of all, it's going to be all right and even amazing in the future. So just keep going and keep learning, keep having fun. And I would also say to myself, trust yourself more, believe in yourself more, believe in yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, because I didn't have much self-confidence. I had almost zero when I came over to Ireland, because in Italy, I went through a difficult situation when I was in a team with my manager. So it was quite of a difficult situation for some time. So I had lost myself. I had lost my self-confidence. So it's something that I had to work on a lot and to regain it. Yeah, so definitely something. This is advice that I would give to myself. Yeah, believe in yourself.
Trusting ourselves.
Yeah.
It's common among women, I find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Not trusting yourself.
yeah. It's probably I don't know if it is more common among women or men are certainly really good at hiding it more than women. That's for sure.
That's true. That's true.
We talk more openly about it.
Well, thank you for coming for the interview. I certainly enjoyed our time together and learned a great deal from you. I would like to leave the last few moments for you.
Okay, I really enjoyed the conversation with you. You asked very insightful questions that made me think and reflect on myself. So it's been very useful and an enjoyable experience for me uh, as well.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it very much. Thank you.